I've lived in this apartment building for 3 years. It's nothing fancy, just a 10-story brick complex built in the 70s, with thin walls and a slow elevator that clanks like it's dying. But it's cheap, and in this city, that's what matters. My unit's on the 7th floor. 7B. For the most part, it's been quiet. Retired couples, college kids, the usual city folk trying to survive. I know a few neighbors by name, but mostly, we all mind our own business. Except for the woman in 6C. I didn't even know 6C was occupied until about 8 months ago. That's when I started hearing the music. It wasn't loud, barely audible through the floor. But it was always the same song, a slow, melancholic piano piece that looped endlessly. Every night around 2 a.m. it would start. Just a few faint notes drifting upward. And every night I'd lie there, staring at the ceiling, listening. At first I thought maybe she was a musician. Maybe she played to fall asleep. But it never changed. Never skipped. Never stopped before dawn. Just the same eerie loop, like some haunted lullaby. I asked the guy in 6B about it once, just casually in the elevator. He looked at me like I'd said something offensive. "There's no one in 6C, he said flatly. I laughed, thought he was messing with me. But he didn't smile. It's been empty since I moved in. He got off the elevator on 6 and didn't look back. I checked the mailboxes that night. 6C had no name, no mail, just a scratched metal plate. So I stopped asking questions. But the music didn't stop. One night, around 2:30 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my hoodie and went downstairs. I stood in front of 6C's door and listened. The music was clearer here, closer. I pressed my ear to the wood, no voices, no movement, just that endless piano loop. I knocked. Nothing. I waited. Then, just as I turned to leave, I heard the lock click. The door opened an inch, just a crack. But no one was there. I stared into the darkness beyond the doorframe. The apartment was pitch black. No sound now, not even the music. I whispered, "Hello?" No answer. Something about that silence was worse than the music. I backed away slowly and returned to my apartment, didn't sleep a minute. The next morning, the door to 6C was shut tight again. A week passed, then 2. No music, nothing. I started to feel like I'd imagined it all. Until the package arrived. It was a plain brown box, sitting in front of my door. No label, no address, just my apartment number, written in black marker, 7B. I opened it inside. Inside was an old cassette tape. No case, no writing, just the tape. I don't own a cassette player, but my neighbor down the hall, Marcus, collects old electronics. I asked if I could borrow one, made up some excuse about a gift for my uncle. That night, I sat on my couch, put the tape in, and pressed play. It was the same piano music, but this time, it didn't loop. It got weirder. At first it was soft, like always. Then there was a voice, a woman's voice, whispering under the music. I could barely make out the words. He watches, from the vents, don't look up. Static. Then breathing, not rhythmic, panicked, shallow gasps like someone hiding. Then scratching, long, slow scratches against metal. I stopped the tape. My skin was ice. I didn't sleep that night either. The next morning, Marcus was gone. I mean, completely gone. His apartment was empty. Door ajar, no note. His mail piled up for days. No one knew anything. Landlord said he must have skipped out on rent. But he wouldn't do that. I checked the cassette player. The tape was missing. Gone from my apartment. That night, the music returned. 2 a.m. Exactly. Louder now. But not from below. From inside my apartment, it was coming from the vent in my bedroom. I stared at it for a long time, just listening. The same notes, the same woman's voice whispering. Only now, I understood more. He lives in the walls. He knows your name. Don't turn around. I packed a bag and left. I stayed at a friend's for a while. Thought I could shake it. Blamed stress, sleep deprivation, anything. But even in her guest room, I'd wake at 2 a.m. every night, hearing that same melody in my head. I finally went back just to grab the rest of my things. The building was quiet. Too quiet. As I stepped into my apartment, the smell hit me. Something rotten, metallic. I held my breath and moved quickly. The vent in my bedroom was open. 7 hit me. Screws scattered on the floor. And taped to the wall, right above my bed, was a photo. A photo of me. Sleeping. I left everything behind, even my wallet. I walked out and didn't look back. Now I live 6 states away. New name, new job, cash only, no online presence. But still, every night at 2 a.m., I wake up. Not from a nightmare, but because the room is too quiet, and I start to wonder if maybe the music's still playing. Just too faint for me to hear. Yet, I live alone. 1-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor of a complex just outside Chicago. It's nothing special. Worn carpets, buzzing hallway lights, and neighbors who keep to themselves. That's the way I like it. Until 2 weeks ago. That's when I started noticing things. Small things at first. The toothpaste cap left off, even though I'm obsessive about closing it. My TV on a different input than I left it. A cold cup of coffee in the sink that I never made. I chalked it up to forgetfulness. Stress. Work's been a nightmare, and I figured I was just distracted. But then it escalated. One night, I came home to find my bathroom mirror fogged up, like someone had taken a shower. But I hadn't been home all day, and my towels were damp. I checked the door, still locked. No signs of forced entry. I called the building manager. He said I was the only one with access. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I installed a camera in the hallway, just outside my door. Cheap one off Amazon, but it worked. I set it to notify me on motion. Nothing all day. Until 3:12 a.m. I woke up to the buzz of a notification. Checked my phone. 1 clip, hallway activity. I opened it, expecting to see nothing. But the video showed a man. Standing in front of my door, hoodie up, hands in his pockets. He stood there for over 5 minutes. Motionless. Then he stepped forward, leaned down, and typed something into my lock. 4 digits. And the door clicked open. I sat there frozen. I had never given that code to anyone. I called the police. They came, checked the apartment. Nothing was missing. No signs of forced entry. They told me to change the code and install a better camera. I did both. New code, better lock. Even a second camera inside the apartment facing the door. I felt safer. For a while. 3 nights later, I got another alert. 2:49 a.m. Motion detected. Same guy. Hoodie. Same posture. This time, he didn't try the lock. He just stared into the peephole. Not moving. Not blinking. And then he smiled. It wasn't a normal smile. It was wrong. Wide. Slow, like he was savoring something. Then he walked away. Police came again, reviewed the footage. They filed a report, but said there wasn't much they could do. No break-in. No threat. I took a few days off work. Got a hotel. Tried to reset. When I came back, my door was still locked. But the camera inside the apartment had been turned around. Facing the wall. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I sat on the couch with a kitchen knife in my lap, listening for the smallest sound. Nothing. At 3:06 a.m., a knock. Not loud. Just deliberate. 3 times. I crept to the door and looked through the peephole. Nothing. Then my phone buzzed. Notification. Motion detected. I opened the clip. He was there, but not knocking, just standing, staring at the camera. Then he raised his hand and waved. I stayed up till sunrise. No more knocks. The next morning, I went to the building manager and demanded security footage. He looked surprised. Said the cameras on my floor had been out for maintenance the past week. That night, I had a friend stay over. Just in case. We locked everything. Blocked the door with furniture. Still, at 3 a.m., we heard footsteps. Slow. Measured. Right outside the door. Then the sound of the keypad beeping. 4 digits. Then silence. We held our breath. Then the lock turned. But the furniture jammed it. The door didn't open. Then came the whisper. Just one word. Clever. Next morning, I left town. Stayed with my brother across the state. Canceled my lease remotely. Told the landlord to keep whatever was in the apartment. I didn't want it. That should have been the end. I got a new job, new place. New number. But last night, as I was brushing my teeth, I noticed something. The mirror was fogged. I hadn't taken a shower and drawn in the condensation. 4 digits. My old code. I wiped the mirror clean. Told myself it was nothing. Just old steam. Or my mind playing tricks again. But when I turned to leave the bathroom, I saw it. The camera on the counter. Turned to face me. I haven't touched it since I moved in. And this time, it was recording. recording, but with no one holding it.